I believe that with the change, even if I'm only one, I know that I can lead the way. Cause I've seen it and I've been there, had to face it the hard way.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Elevated Podcast. It's your girl Rena. Today I am alongside with one of my good friends. Her name is Katherine. She is actually from the LA area and she chose to move out here to the DC area to fulfill a lot of different goals and missions that she had as far as helping to give back to her community. So we are super excited to have her here today. She has a lot to share with us, and I hope that you guys will stick around and, appreciate everything she has to say. So, Katherine, how are you? How are you feeling today?
Hi.
Thank you for coming through.
Thanks for having me, Rena. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be here. I've never done anything like this. But, in 2023, I really want to think about my voice and embracing that and sharing that with people. So I'm really excited to be here.
Yes, we have beautiful conversations all of the time. And I always tell you that you have a very powerful message. And one thing's for sure, anybody that keeps up with you and your platform, you see the action behind what you are trying to do. You're someone who doesn't just speak about the things that you want to do, but Katherine is really somebody who's out here doing it every day. So I want to get a little bit into that, who you are as a person. You're a Salvadorian, young Latina out here in DC. A lot of people from the DMV area, I'm born and raised DMV, choose to move to LA and the West Coast to fulfill their dreams. And for you, you actually are from the West Coast and chose to come out here. So where did all of this begin? Let's go down to being born and raised in the LA area and just making your transition to coming out here to the East Coast.
Yeah, so as you said, I was born and raised in LA, but my family is from El Salvador, so my family migrated here during the Salvadorian Civil War, and they came to seek refuge here in LA. And so, my story, my family story, really made an impact on me and what I wanted to do. And so, I was raised in South Central LA, and I had a lot of experiences, one of them being like having to travel 45 minutes from my neighborhood to another neighborhood for school. And from a young age, I saw the disparities that I faced, that people in my community faced. And then I went to college, and there I studied international studies and social policy and public service. And I really learned about some of the policies and systems in place that have made things the way they are for Black and brown people in this country. And I wanted to make a difference. So when I graduated, I moved to DC. I had done an internship in DC just to kind of see how I liked it, the vibe. And I interned at an organization called the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights.
I want to touch, this is all amazing, but I do want to touch a little bit on, you said the disparities and everything that you saw being in the South Central area of LA. So with those experiences, taking a bus 45 minutes out to go to school, was that because your family wanted you to go to better schooling, or is that absolutely the only thing that was available to you in that area?
Yeah, no, my family wanted me to go to a better school, at a very young age. My mom used to talk to me and tell me, you're going to be the first one in our family to go to college. And I was the first one in my family to go to college and to graduate. And
It's
that
amazing.
was, and it's a big accomplishment for me and for my family. And so, there was a lot of sacrifices that my family and I have made so that I could be here.
Wow. So being raised in that type of environment, your mom poured a lot into you and she really believed in you.
Yeah.
What was it like when you made that decision to come out to DC? You took the internship first.
Yes.
So this would be maybe around after college, you said?
So in spring 2017, that was right before I graduated, I did an internship. For young Latinas, we often don't have the connections in the industries that we want to work in, or someone to say, hey, here's a job, even if it's entry level. So I wanted to set myself up for success. And so I did an internship here, and I really liked it, and I liked the work. I mentioned I interned at an organization called the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, and I got a feel for what it's like to work around politics, in politics, and fighting for civil and human rights, and I loved it, and so I decided to move here in the fall.
And so now that you are here full-time in DC, I know you organize different kinds of events. You organize protests. You also help with putting together voting registration, things like that. How would you say, like, everything you're doing now, how is that translating to, like, your life mission with everything you're trying to do? I know that you're somebody who's very big on equality, community, and that's something that we've both been able to relate on. Was this something that you always felt in your heart, especially being raised in that environment you were raised in, where South Central LA, now being where you're at with all your goals and stuff? Like, where would you see all of this leading into on a, like, 5-year, 10-year, like, long-term level?
Yeah, I think that is a great question, a very loaded question in some ways. So, yeah, you know, I think in many ways, I did always feel this in my heart. I didn't always know what exactly I would be doing. I didn't know what organizing was growing up. Even in college, I didn't know what organizing was. But I was able to find my way. And I think how I've been able to find my way is through thinking about what my purpose is and how I want to impact the world, everyone around me. And what I've come to the conclusion is that one of my goals in life is to empower other people, and organizing is one way that I do that. I empower others through, you know, organizing issue-based campaigns on issues that affect people, everyday people, empowering people to vote, to use their voice. And that also has translated into other things that I'm doing now. I've started modeling, and I've shared, and I do share my fitness journey with a lot of people and on my platform. And those are ways that I choose to empower other people.
Yeah, definitely. With the health and fitness as well, and even modeling, how do you find balance in doing both? Because they're very different. Like, I know, like, with everything, you're able to bridge the two together. But how is it with, like, coordinating events and doing nonprofit work, and then also trying to do modeling and running, like, the health and fitness stuff on a full-time level too? How have you been able to find the balance in that? Any advice you can give to viewers who may be, you know, trying to juggle their creativity and their passions while also fulfilling something as big as that, like doing the nonprofit work? Like, where's the balance in that?
You know, I want to be realistic and say that it is hard to balance. It is actually really hard. And I'm still figuring some of that out. You know, when I came in today, I was talking about how tired I am. But that said, now I'm at a place where I prioritize rest, number one. Previously, when I first moved to DC and I was working on organizing and I was working my second job a lot more, I was in a consistent state of burnout, and I didn't know that at the time. But now I look back and reflect, and I also have put a lot of things in place. There's a lot of tools in place, like my daily routine, my morning routine. We've talked a little bit about that. That helps me. But also, I think that now I'm thinking about, you know, all my passions, organizing, fitness, and modeling. I can't do all three at 100% all the time. And I'm realistic with myself about that.
I love that you said that, because we've also spoken on being hard on yourself and feeling like you have to do all these things. And always be on grind mode. So I know you just said that you were in a constant burnout state. How were you able to release that pressure and be like, you know what, it's okay to sleep in today. It's okay to take a nap. Even I struggle with that at times where I'm like, I need to create, I need to work on this music, I need to work on this video. And like, there's those times where I have to pump the brakes and be like, it's okay. Like, I don't always have to be in grind mode. I want to touch a little bit on that because, you know, both of us being Salvadorians from like immigrant households, that is a generational thing where we do feel like we always have to be in grind mode. When did you start being graceful with yourself and be like, you know what, it's okay, I don't have to do all this?
You know, I wish I could tell you like everything has been easy, but unfortunately I reached some sort and multiple sorts of breaking points where the stress, my anxiety really got to me and started to affect me physically. And when you get to that point, you can't do anything but rest and to focus on your health.
It's like surrendering at that point. So for you, it really was like a surrendering moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Where you were like, shit, like this is it. Like I need to stop.
Yeah, like I need to stop. I need to rest. My body was telling me to rest. And that was the only way forward.
What could you say to somebody that's listening that is in constant burnout and may need this advice and they need to hear, like, it's okay to slow down?
You know, my advice would be to find tools that can help you. You know, for me, that's been therapy. For me, that's been journaling. For me, that's been being real with my friends about what I'm going through. And there's just a lot out there to help you. And I didn't know that at the time. Yeah. And I've learned so much.
Would you say that now that you've actually taken the time to slow down and prioritize your mental wellness and actual peace and happiness, sometimes we get caught in this cycle of constantly working, constantly grinding, even constantly feeling like we have to link up with friends or like going to these events. Like, I had to cancel something that I'm doing tonight because I had to take a step back and realize, you know what, as much as I want to, like, I'm tired and I need to take this time for me. Now that you take the time to just practice mindfulness, meditation perhaps, we get stuck in the cycle of feeling like, well, I have to go to this event. Well, I have to network. Well, I have to work. And then you end up in burnout. Yes, you may have accomplished a lot, but at least for me, I found that when I do sit with myself, on the back end, I see more success and growth because in a sense, I allowed these things to just sit and marinate rather than just like feeling like I have to be at all these things and do all these things. Mm-hmm. Are you catching my drift?
Yes, I feel you. So what I have like kind of changed my thinking to when it comes to how I do everything that I do is I think about it as like a balance between rest and rigor. And so I take the time to rest and I prioritize rest. And that means that I can show up and
be amazing when
it's time to organize what I have to do, put on the events that I have to do, the protest. You know, there's a lot of pressure when I do those events.
I'm sure you've told me, and I love that you're able to set boundaries so well, because there are times where it's like we want to hang out or like we want to make plans, and you've told me straight up like, look, this week is like, I know there was one week that you had where I don't know what you called it. There was a specific word, and it was like every day you were gonna be like,
oh, a retreat. I think I called it a retreat.
Perhaps maybe. But I just know, like, for 3 days straight, you were going to be out, like, protesting, like, I don't know.
Oh, yes. We were holding a conference.
Yes. It was a conference week.
So one of the things that we do is fly people in from different states. Mm-hmm. So the organization that I work for now is a network of grassroots organizations across the country. And sometimes we bring them here to D.C. to protest, to talk to their Congress members. And so when it's like that, it's kind of, it's showtime, you know. a lot of the work that I do is actually I work from home, so it's planning and organizing all of that stuff
A lot
behind
of
the scenes.
yeah, it's like a lot of logistic stuff, or
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that nonprofit, you're doing a lot more logistic stuff, and then with the modeling and the health and wellness stuff, that's more like your creative side.
Yeah, so it's funny that you asked that because why I got into organizing, I wanted to do more behind the scenes. I never wanted to be the person in front of the camera actually, or like on, in front of anything like that. However, I've had opportunities in life. My path has just shown me different opportunities that have led to me to be
To have this voice
to
and
have
be
this
able to
voice.
express.
Yeah, and I want to embrace that more. I am embracing that more.
Absolutely.
And I'm doing that through fitness, through sharing my fitness journey, because I think that's important for me, because the fitness industry has been dominated by white folks primarily. And to be Latina in that industry and to tell people you can still eat pupusas and
Yeah.
plátanos fritos and like
Absolutely.
you'll be fine.
I'm someone who pushes health and wellness as well. Not necessarily push,
Yeah.
because I don't think it's something that needs to be forced, but I'm big on balance too, where it's like health and fitness, it's a lifestyle. Like, you don't have to say no to the ice cream all the time, like you can indulge in certain things while still keeping that balance. And that's why I also always say, like, it's not about dieting. It's really just about figuring out just healthy habits that work for you. So are you someone that's always been super into health and fitness, or you found your way into like later on down the road?
No, I mean, I always played sports and that was always a good outlet for me. But I did struggle with my weight growing up, and I was overweight till about age 24, so like fairly recently. And it wasn't until I got a part-time job at a gym, and I got a free membership there and I started using it. And being into fitness and wellness has completely changed my life. And I want to share that with people, and I want to share that with people from our communities, because I don't think that that's emphasized enough. Like,
especially in the Latino community, I
Yeah.
can attest to that for me, it's like, yeah, like we can indulge into all these foods and stuff, but everything is in moderation. And I don't believe that there is enough knowledge in Spanish as far as what goes into these foods, and like just going into like the numbers of things, like actual nutrition facts, like in the Latino community. Like, I know that I've seen, like, we just like eat whatever. I mean, at least that's how it was for me. Like we wouldn't even really look into the fact that like some of these things are not the best for us. Sodas, sugars, all those things. So would you say like that's part of your mission too, is just trying to educate our Latino community to try and, prioritize this?
yeah, absolutely, because I primarily lift, and I lift heavy. Like, I think
You're not too into cardio, are you?
I hate cardio. And
I do try to do cardio, but I actually don't like cardio too much.
I
Do you
don't.
feel like cardio is necessary?
Cardio is necessary, like, to make sure that your heart works, and
But you can
that
be
you're well-
healthy and like lift weights and still.
There's other things you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with that said, I lift heavy, and there's some of the señoras who, when I tell them how much I lift, or when they see me in the gym, squatting more than my own body weight, they're like, like, don't hurt yourself, or like,
Oh, yeah.
they're worried for me or nervous. And even my grandma, like, I showed her a video of me squatting, and she was like, "Ooh," like, and I'm like, you know what, I'm safe. Number one, I'm
Yeah.
safe. I'm doing this. I do know what I'm doing, and this is actually healthy for me.
So in a sense, they it is that they just aren't knowledgeable to the fact that it is okay to lift.
Yeah.
I know my mom, when she started going to the gym with me, now like she goes to the gym by herself. She loves the gym. But at first, like when she would get sore, I don't think she understood that she was sore because that's what happens when you go to the gym, and
Yeah.
it's okay to be sore. So yeah, no, I definitely feel that. Where do you see yourself going with the health and fitness and everything? I know that you told me you have some strong goals for 2023 and you're diving deeper into that side of things. So what's like your vision for 2023 with everything that you've got going on now?
Yeah, you know, I think that I just want to continue using my platform and the knowledge that I've gained to empower others to pursue fitness as something that can improve their wellness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Definitely.
I think that I'm still thinking about what that means. And I know we been wanting to do a vision board session.
Yes.
So I'm really excited for that.
So this is probably going to be releasing in 2023, but I will say like vision boards, some people make them quarterly. Some people make them yearly. I normally do one at the end of the year to prep for the year. But I will say, like, if you are watching this, even quarterly, like, you can start now. Vision boards are such a powerful way to manifest.
Yeah.
Like, have you started actually, like, writing down what you want to put on your vision board?
I've started some of it. You know,
Different ideas?
I think one of the things that you and I have talked about is like when you're working so much, sometimes it's hard to have the space to really vision and things like that. And I think, unfortunately, right now, that's where I've been, that I haven't had the space to sit down
It's
and
been
just
hard
think.
to just daydream
Yeah.
about what you want things to look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
hopefully next week.
Yeah, so I just wanted to share with you guys like how I've been building my vision board so I can just give a little bit of ideas to anybody who may want to get into it. But and then you can chime in too whatever you've started writing out as well. But for me, travel is something that I really love. It is like therapy to me, and I feel like you learn a lot about life and other people, cultures through travel. So that is like a subject that I've written down on I'll start with a Google Doc. I'll put down travel, then I'll put in the cities that I want to go to, and then I'll go on Pinterest, Google, whatever, and I'll start screenshotting photos and stuff like that I could print out to put on the vision board, because you want it to be it's called a vision board, so you want to be able to see these things so that way you're like daydreaming about it and then it manifests. So I'll do travel, different goals that I have with that. Then I'll go into like my career. So something really big that I got into this year was like my music and like different shows that I want to get booked for, things like that. I also got into like my financials. So like I have a lot of different hustles. So I really went in and I focused on like which specific areas of my hustles do I want to make my main sources of income. So you want to go into your finances, you want to go into spirituality, fitness goals. I am someone who I don't really track my like I know you know how much you squat, I'm sure. Like you know like your max and everything.
Yeah.
That's something that I want to work on as well. Like I want to be able to know like, okay, this is how much I can lift as far as like benching, squatting, whatever. So even going down to that, like getting into the nitty gritty so that you can really like manifest. What would be some ideas that you could share like as far as like putting down on your vision board?
I think one of my recommendations would be to put things on your vision board that really align with you and who you want, like to your core. And what I mean by that is like, you know, I talked about prioritizing my well-being, right? Being in this point where I prioritize my well-being. And so last year when I was thinking about my goals, one of them was that I wanted to visit my family and go back to LA once a quarter. And so I didn't have the money to do that at the moment, but I didn't care about that. And that didn't matter because my, like what aligned with me and my core was prioritizing my family and my well-being.
Did you find a way to make it happen?
Yeah, absolutely.
And this year you got to visit them
Yeah.
once quarterly.
Yeah, and I stayed for up to like 3 weeks at a time.
So sometimes we don't know how we're going to do things. And sometimes we have these goals and we think they're out of reach, but at the end of the day, writing them down, sitting on these ideas and goals, they're going to end up manifesting themselves, especially it's all about intention.
Yep.
So you set that intention, you knew that this was important to you, and you made it happen. God finds a way to bring things together to bridge it and make it happen. So I love that you mentioned that, because people need to hear that for sure.
And honestly, that's how almost everything that I have accomplished and what I've done and how I've gotten here, like that's how that's happened.
Just like setting goals for yourself that maybe just, obviously you don't want to be too ambitious where it's unrealistic, but maybe just a little out of reach.
And I think,
to push yourself.
That, and like I said, what aligns with you. And I think you can figure out the process and how to get there along the way. When I thought about, or when I think about organizing, I didn't know that role or what I do now existed.
Right.
I knew I wanted to create change. That was my goal. I wanted to change the world. And I found a way to do that through organizing. And so you can like shoot for the stars, aim high.
Definitely.
And then,
do you believe that there is a cap to success?
no, I don't.
It's limitless.
Yeah.
It's limitless in every way. So,
and I think not only do I think it's limitless for me, for you, like I think everyone can achieve level of success.
And
like,
I strongly believe that everyone can win, and there's plenty to go around for everybody to get there. So yeah, I wanted to hear your take on that a little bit, because limited beliefs are real. People definitely limit themselves, and we all struggle with that. We all have fallen victim to that, where we may have certain goals and we're like, damn, like how am I gonna do this? Like, am I worthy of it? And I constantly do want to remind people that you are, like anything is possible. And we have someone right here that I feel like you were in a position where somebody else could have been like, you know what, I could never, like, because of the circumstances, whatever the case may be. And you've been able to prove like, yes, you can. And you're just getting started.
Yeah.
So what is in the cards for you? What's in the future? What do you see coming in these next 5 years? You have some really big dreams and goals. What would ideally you like, what would you ideally like to do to be able to serve your mission? You're already doing it, but even on, just your goals in the next 5-10 years.
Yeah. I usually don't really like to answer that question.
You don't gotta go too deep into it.
It's not that. It's that it's a hard question for me to answer, because 5 years ago, I couldn't have told you that this is where I saw myself. I moved to DC 5 years ago. Although I had that internship when I moved here, I didn't have a job. I moved here with 2 suitcases and that was it. And I was going to make something happen. And I have.
So, okay, I want to talk a little bit about that. You came to DC with no plan?
Well, okay, I didn't say without a plan. I said without a job.
Okay.
Without technically a full-time job.
Okay, but you did
but
have
I had a plan.
Okay.
I was going to figure it out.
Okay. So, I mean, we were just talking about this last night at the event that I was at too, because the DJ that was on the mic, he was saying that he moved to LA, and it was more so a mindset thing for him, where he was like, I don't care. I'm going to cut the fear out. I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to figure it out when I get out there. So, yeah, I know that you probably had your things in the back of your mind, something to, but for the most part, were you just like, I'm gonna make that thing work one way or another? Because this was it a part-time paid internship, or was it like
So I did that when I was still in college, and then when I moved out here, like I didn't have the internship anymore. I was still in conversations with that organization, and eventually they hired me.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't like off the bat, and it actually took me interviewing for 3 different positions. And so, we talk about fear, right? And when I first moved to DC, I did have a lot of fears, but I just think that, I knew myself, I know how hard I can hustle. I think that I've always known that. And I know that I was willing to do whatever I had to, you know, to make my dreams happen. And so I didn't have a full-time job, but I got a part-time job at Banana Republic. I had a degree, but like no job, I've never felt like any job is above me or anyone is above me. And so I had that, and like, you know, I was interviewing and stuff, and I had a little stash of money for like a couple months.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I was like, if I need to start waiting tables, I'll do that. If I need to, I had signed up to walk dogs.
Really?
Actually,
You're all around hustling.
yeah.
But you had to go through that process to get to that point where now you are doing the organizing, nonprofit stuff, all full-time level. And then I know that you have your stuff going on with the gym as well, with the fitness and everything. So that's amazing. Now it's like we said, it's limitless.
Yeah,
the potential is limitless. Do you see yourself doing nonprofit work for a substantial amount of time? Or like, because I don't really know too much about that stuff. So what would be like a different like sector, like another step as far as like the world of politics in like the area that you're in now? I feel like there's so much you could do and tap into.
There is, you know, I think that one thing that I actually don't talk about often is the impact that it has on me as an individual, because I am a Latina, I am a woman of color, first generation, impacted person. A lot of times I am organizing around issues that have impacted me directly, or my family, or people that I know and love directly. So sometimes that is difficult. So I don't know if this is something that I can do forever.
Do you feel like it, on an emotional level, like it can be, if it affects you, like it can be triggering in a sense, maybe?
Yes, at times. And one of the things that makes me great at my job, but makes it difficult on me sometimes, is that like
I feel things deeply. You're an empath. That's why I'm like, you definitely feel these things
Which is
deeply.
why I love doing this.
And you're so passionate and good at it because you genuinely put your heart and soul into it.
Yeah. Like, I really care about each and every person that I am able to talk to and help, you know, help them find their voice.
I'm sure it's hard because you're seeing a lot of these social issues in the world firsthand. Like, you're seeing it firsthand. So I'm sure, like, that can linger, like all those energies, those feelings that can stick with you. So I'm gonna be very honest though. I mean, you are gonna continue to keep helping and pushing all this positivity. And I mean, I don't know if it'll be with a nonprofit, but I don't think I ever see you like stopping as far as like providing like resources and just everything for your community.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that, we talked about pressure. You know, I don't put the pressure on me that anymore, that because this is what I studied to do, this is what I prepared to do, and what I'm doing now, this was my career, you know. When I've talked to my family, they're like, why would you pursue something else? Like, this is what you went to school for. But people can take so many different life paths, and I am open to exploring that. And yes, I'll always be giving back to my community and thinking about ways that I can do that.
It just may be in a different area, a different way of doing it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are reaching that point where we're going to be wrapping up the interview, but I do want to give you a chance to just leave the audience with, whether it's a piece of advice, you want to share something about you, maybe past experiences that could help someone out there that's listening, whether they want to get into politics or they want to break through that fear as well, traveling across the country and leaving their whole family to go fulfill something. I know that that isn't something easy to do, and you've been able to do that and really just shine through and break through all these things. So yeah, whatever tips and advice you can give, and just like share whatever you may have in store as well, and then we can drop like your tags and everything.
Yeah. So my advice would be to, believe in yourself, like really bet on yourself, like for real, like full on, and pursue whatever it is that you want and trust your gut. And I think just be focused on yourself. Really, I think that that's the most important thing. And for 2023, I'm really excited to continue pursuing modeling. I had a lot of amazing opportunities this year.
Yes, we're gonna see you on different runway shows.
I know, yes.
Manifesting it.
I did my first runway show this year, and I was in my first commercial this year.
So exciting. Where can we find those? Twisted Tea was one of them, right?
Yes, so Twisted Tea commercial, it's coming out in April 2023. So
okay. Oh my God, that's exciting.
And so I had a lot of big things happen for me this year. I'm excited to continue doing that. Next year, consistency, that is another key thing. Everything that I do, I've been consistent at, and that has made me good at what I do. But I'm really excited to continue doing modeling, fitness, and the organizing work that I do in 2023.
Can we expect some like personal training advice? Perhaps some health tips.
I am
ebooks. I don't know.
I am
maybe?
the type of person that doesn't talk about things till like I'm doing
they really
it.
like
I'm doing it.
Came
like
through, yeah.
I don't know when I told people that I was moving to DC. Probably like when I had the ticket.
That's amazing. So you are yeah, you're very big on moving in silence, which is good because when people don't really know exactly what you have going on, they can't ruin it.
Yes, it's like when you plant a seed, and it's starting to grow, like you got to protect it, and it's very delicate, and so it's same with my goals. That's how I am. So I have a lot of things in the works. Yes.
So you guys are going to see all of it. This interview will be dropping in 2023. So we'll have all of Katherine's information linked down below. We'll probably place it right here as well. But yeah, make sure you check her out. We have so much going on so many levels, and this is definitely somebody that you want to keep up with. Every morning, I will say, you do not miss. Whether it's morning, afternoon, there's always some type of positivity being shared on your platforms, and I can say I look forward to watching it. It's very inspiring watching you, just sun gaze and appreciate the sunrise. Those are things that sometimes we take for granted, and it is mindfulness to just sit and just appreciate nature and all those things. So if there's somebody that you want to keep up with that really has positive, beautiful content, Katherine is one of those people. So make sure you guys stay tuned for all she's got coming. And thank you so much for joining me on this show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I know you're very busy, so I appreciate you actually taking the time. And yeah, thank you all for watching as well. We will see you on the next one. Again, it's your girl Rena with the Elevated Podcast. Mwah.
I'm just saying, y'all, if we want to see a change, we gotta be that change. Be better for our children, better for the next generations to come. They're the ones up next, only hope we got left.